ABSOLVE. The House of Representatives passed the Processed Food Amendment Act on Tuesday. The bill, which also amends the Processed Food General Regulations, was piloted by Minister of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries, Carl Samuda.
A decision has been taken to amend the Processed Food Act, PFA, and the Processed Food General Regulations 1959 to remove the requirement for export certificates to facilitate the implementation of the Automated System for Customs Data, ASICUA, a sub-based system designed to transform the Jamaican Customs Agency into a paperless operation through the use of electronic documents. One of the main objectives of the ASICUA system is to harmonize trade procedures and reduce trade barriers. Consequently, this objective envisages the incorporation of the Bureau of Standards of Jamaica, BSJ's port-related procedures into the system. The Jamaica Customs Agency, JCA, indicated that it could not incorporate the export certificate component of the Processed Foods Act into ASICUA, into the system. And both the JCA and the Bureau of Standards of Jamaica, BSJ, having consulted, have jointly recommended the removal of the provisions in the Act relating to requirements for export certificates. The removal of the export certificates provision will shorten the process for the export of processed food, constitute a positive step towards a more trade facilitatory regime, and bring Jamaica further in line with international best practices, which posit a risk-based approach towards production. This bill, therefore, seeks to amend the Processed Food Act and the Processed Food General Regulations to give effect to that decision.
The main objectives of the ASYCUDA system is to harmonize trade procedures and reduce trade barriers. Cabinet has approved the tabling of the bill entitled The National Heroes and Other Freedom Fighters Absolution from Criminal Liability in Respect of Specified Events Act in the Houses of Parliament. The bill aims to absolve national heroes, the Right Excellent Sam Sharp, the Right Excellent George William Gordon, the Right Excellent Paul Bogle, and the Right Excellent Marcus Garvey, as well as their supporters, sympathizers, and participants by association, and other freedom fighters from criminal liability arising from their participation in acts of liberation with moral justification. Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, Olivia Grange, opened the debate on the bill in Parliament. She says the bill seeks to redress the wrongs and set the captives free.
We, the children of these freedom fighters who gave up life and liberty so we can be free, cannot sit in silence and agree to a system that rendered those who freed us with their lives as criminals. It would be unjust for the children of the oppressed, emboldened by a vision of future liberty for their children, to sit silently and allow the names of these martyrs for freedom to have their names and images tarnished by a brutal, uncaring system of governance. It is the duty of those of us who are the inheritors of the new life that resulted from their self-sacrifice to take the bold step and correct the wrongs of the past, restore the dignity and integrity of the cause for which they so willingly died.
The police is refining its strategy to hit human traffickers in the pocket. This as the criminals have taken to hiding their transactions in cryptocurrencies, popularly known as bitcoins. Deputy Superintendent of Police Carl Berry says Jamaica is having conversations with global law enforcement partners on how to follow the money trail. In Jamaica, it's estimated that there are 7,000 women, children, and men living in slavery, with their handlers charging anywhere from Jamaican $300 to $60,000 for their services. Speaking at the two-day anti-money laundering, counter-financing of terrorism conference in New Kingston on Tuesday, Berry urged bankers to collaborate with law enforcement on efforts to track the money trail. Member of Parliament for Kingston East and Port Royal, Philip Polwell, wants work on the Windward Road Elegant Corridor project to begin soon. He says the project should extend from the start of that road all the way up to Mountain View Avenue and from the Windward Road Mountain View intersection straight through Ellison Road and beyond. He says the projects seem to have been abandoned by the current government.
You can imagine our dismay, and it came up in our committee meetings, when in the PAAC we were advised that the project was no longer on, and that there were no funds available for it. Mr. Speaker, you know the area has been an eyesore for many years, and the people in our community meetings have urged me to press. They did say some other things, but I don't think it's appropriate to report them here as to motive. But I know that we are going to get the attention of the government on this one.
Mr. Polwell made those comments during his opening presentation of the State of the Constituency debate. During these debates, members are able to provide status reports and share the issues and concerns that are raised by various communities within the constituency that they represent. The Electoral Office of Jamaica, EOJ, has extended the validity of voter identification cards by 2 years. The cards should have expired on December 31 this year, but a notice from the EOJ said the cards will now be valid until December 31, 2019. Director of Elections, Orette Fisher, says that the extension will help his team with its island-wide enumeration exercise scheduled for next year. The aim is to organize the voters' lists by verifying information of those persons on the list and facilitating individuals who want to be added. The Rex NETTLEFORD Arts Conference kicks off today at the Edna Manley School of the Visual and Performing Arts. Conference organizer Dr. Trudy Barrett says the conference is vital in framing the country's artistic landscape.
And it really seeks to provide a platform whereby leading thinkers in the region and global voices can come together in a space where there's exchange, critical exchange about ideas related to the arts and culture in the 21st century. Mm-hmm. It's a space where we reimagine the role that the arts currently has and project ways that the arts can continue to enable the development of cultural agents throughout the region.
Today is being marked as World Obesity Day. According to global health organizations, if the current trends hold, then 2.7 billion adults will suffer from obesity by 2025. In regional news, United Nations General Secretary Antonio Guterres says special consideration should be given to small states which are vulnerable, despite being categorized as middle-income countries. Among them were hurricane-battered Dominica and Antigua and Barbuda.
Even if these countries have graduated as middle-income countries, they have a number of vulnerabilities that need to be taken into account if we want them to be sustainable as middle-income countries. And so, when these countries are facing external shocks of the magnitude of the ones that we are witnessing, it is absolutely crucial that they benefit from innovative forms of funding and from assistance, concessional loans, new bonds, and one of the ideas that our Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean has expressed is the possibility to transform the repayments of debt in investments made by the countries to build resilience in relation to storms.
And life in St. Martin is slowly returning to normal. This after the country was ravaged by Hurricane Irma last month. France Carib Broadcast filed this update.
In this district, the teams of EDF, Électricité de France, the teams are at work.
There was a meter there, but the meter is damaged, and it's absolutely necessary to bring back the electricity in this house. So we check before anything if there is a connection inside, and we send directly for them.
On the island, the water is managed. The drops account. For Kelly, it is a real headache.
We have to fetch 5 buckets of water every day.
A glimmer of hope, electricity restored in its neighborhood, allowed the purchase of frozen products. The shelves of the fresh and ultra-fresh products of the only hypermarket open in the French zone remain desperately empty.
All dairy products we have not yet, and apparently it will be the next week.
Dried products and preserves are not lacking. Shopping is again possible, at least for those who have the financial means. Here in Marigot, this association that usually receives homeless people has been transformed into a place of distribution of foodstuffs for the most needy people. Sherry came to look for food to feed his family. Yet she works, but her salary for the month of August has not yet arrived on her bank account.
Those were the local and regional stories. Do stay with us. Sports is next. In sports, the United States have been eliminated from the 2018 World Cup. On Tuesday, the team were slapped with a 2-1 defeat to Trinidad and Tobago. The U.S. upset, combined with Panama's 2-1 win over Costa Rica and Honduras' 3-2 victory over Mexico, means the Americans have failed to qualify for the World Cup for the first time since 1986. And still on football, the president of Panama has declared Wednesday to be a national holiday after the country qualified for World Cup for the first time ever. The national team beat Costa Rica 2-1 in Panama City on Tuesday evening. Over now to athletics, as Jamaica Anti-Doping Commission JADCO Executive Director Kerry Brown has taken the board to court, seeking an injunction to block his firing. With Brown's termination imminent, the man who has led the organization since November 2013 is not going out with a fight. Brown's attorney, Hugh Wildman, has sought and received an injunction from the Supreme Court, halting JADCO's move to fire Brown, even as he seeks a judicial review to have the matter quashed. Wildman, who spoke with RJR Sports on Wednesday, says the move by the JADCO board to sack Brown is unconstitutional. Athletes should be fitted with microchips in the same way dogs are to help stamp out doping in the sport. That's the opinion of the head of an organization representing more than 100,000 Olympians. World Olympians Association's chief executive, Mike Miller, told a conference in London on Wednesday that technology would soon allow an implant to detect performance-enhancing drugs. Miller said, quote, "We chip our dogs. We're prepared to do that, and it doesn't seem to harm them. I believe that in order to stop doping, we need to chip our athletes where the latest technology is there," end quote. Miller's organization represents 100,000 Olympians across the world, but he said he was not speaking on behalf of the WOA, but in a personal capacity. And those were the stories making the news on PBCJ. Stay with us. The weather report is next. This is PBCJ's weather report. Thanks so much for staying with us. It's been a very active hurricane season, with hurricanes Irma, Harvey, and Maria leaving their impact. But the most recent development is Ophelia. The weather system could brush by the Azores this weekend. Ophelia is likely to be the 10th straight Atlantic named storm to become a hurricane. This would tie the record for the most consecutive Atlantic named storms to reach hurricane strength. Regionally, a trough is still affecting Jamaica and the Caribbean. When you're looking at our forecast for tomorrow, we're seeing scattered showers across most of the region because of this system. We can expect an average temperature, though, between 28 and 31 degrees Celsius. Locally, we can expect scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms across sections of most parishes, and we're seeing an average temperature between 29 and 32 degrees Celsius. Let's look at our 7-day forecast for Kingston. We're seeing a 90% chance of rainfall throughout the weekend, so ensure that you plan accordingly. The average temperature should be between 24 and 31 degrees Celsius for the rest of the week going into next week as well. In our 7-day forecast for over there in Montego Bay, St. James, there's a 70% chance of rainfall on Friday, and that goes up across the weekend. We're expecting an average temperature between 24 and 30 degrees Celsius, so it's still going to be pretty warm out. In our forecast for tonight across the island, though, we can expect cloudy conditions and scattered showers across most parishes. We should also expect an average temperature between 23 and 26 degrees Celsius. And that's it for the weather report. Thanks so much for making it PBCJ. Remember, we are the People's Station.
As an inner city youth, I'm a youth if you know my rights. Not because you see me on the corner, you